Jen got sick, I'd go over and visit a lot, and we go up in that room, and he'd tell you things. I meant to ask Marion if it would be okay if I say this, and hopefully it will be. Yeah, I know. But, so Jim would talk about various periods during the drum and the Chrysler struggle. That was one that was real important to him. And one of the things he told me, like with the letter, he talked about his character. He would talk about, like, what kind of legacy would he leave, that was important to him. But one of the things during one of those conversations that he told me, he says, one time, Chrysler's president, they called me and Chuck into their offices, and they're trying to get to shut down Drum. They as a capitalist company, they deal with people. They deal with like money. Everybody wants money, so they offered them a dealership. It's like, okay, if you take this dealership, right, like, can we like work something out? Well, naturally that didn't go very well. I'm not sure how much he talked about that. They offered all kinds of stuff, but I think they thought that was going to be their hook. That didn't work. I was just like, okay, so. And they couldn't figure out what was his price, and that I found was something that was really important in that little room that we talked about different things. But the document that I want to read, this was written. We have family reunions every year. This particular time, I think it was when Jim was running for one of the political positions, and our reunion was in Georgia, and he couldn't stay for the whole thing. So in this particular reunion, the hosting families, okay, well, I want everybody to get up and say your acknowledgments. And we had doctors, we had master's degrees, we had bachelor's degrees. Everybody was doing all this phenomenal stuff, right? So Jim writes a letter and says, look, he gives it to Jeanette, says, I want you to read this. I can't stay. Can you read this tomorrow at the picnic? So this is what he wrote. Says, on the question of giving a claim, yesterday, August 6, 1977, at the family reunion gathering, many of us stood up proudly to discuss the accomplishments that we as a family have made. I did not speak at that time because I wanted to speak about Buddy Benz. Buddy Benz is a social activist and a retired auto worker. He is very active in the retiree section, always fighting for the rights of those who live off pensions. He is at all political gatherings around the city of Detroit, but he has never stopped fighting for the working man. Buddy, as Robert Benz prefers to be called, represents a decisive section of the Baker-Dixon family. In the last year, 2 members of our family, Abraham and Oscar, have retired from 30 years of hard work in factories. My father, General Senior, Cousin Fred, Big Buddy, Little Buddy, Daniel, Renow, and on and on and on, all are factory workers, and they all deserve a round of applause. Society sets up an artificial division between those of us who work by mental labor and those who work by the sweat of their brow. But we should not sink to that level. The roots of our families are based in the shops, and we need to always remember where we came from and be proud of our heritage. It is often forgotten that mankind must first eat, have shelter, and clothing before we pursue politics, arts, and the rest. Therefore, we should be proud of both sections of our family and applaud them equally. And he signs General G. Baker.
That sounds like General. Yes, it does. He encouraged me to be an autodidact, a self-taught person. And I spent many of the hours that I spent in the office on Cortland doing nothing but just studying, just buried in books all the time. And it was a habit that I really continued throughout my entire life. And he always encouraged my reading and my writing. We're going to open up this